Yes, you read that title correctly. February of 2021 was my best month ever. It was incredible, making over $624,000. And it was truly life changing, but it wasn't just luck. It was a specific market environment and a handful of key trades. And in this video, I'm gonna open up my trading journal and give you a complete breakdown of that incredible month, including the exact setups I traded and all of the lessons that I learned from it. Before we get into the trades, it's important to understand what the market environment looked like back then. February of 2021 was one of the craziest markets I've ever seen, and a lot of other traders around me have ever seen, even people that have been trading for decades were in awe of the market that we were in. We had stimulus checks being sent out. We had tons of new retail traders that were starting to trade the stock market as well, and an insane amount of liquidity that was flooding into OTCs, small caps, and even big caps. Any type of trader that you were, or pretty much any type of strategy, you were going to be met with a lot of volatility and momentum during that time. Stocks were moving hundreds, sometimes thousands of percent in the same day. And it felt like every single day we had a new stock that was going parabolic. So it was a very unique market, and it is not something that we see every single day, which is why we were able to size in as much as we could, because this market was truly an amazing opportunity. So this is my trading calendar for February of 2021. And as you can see, there were a lot of big days, such as 93,000, 72,000, 40,000, and even 68,000. So what I really want you guys to see is that it wasn't just one lucky day or one lucky trade. No, it was a lot of consistent days that all added up to 624,000. And the only reason why I was able to do that in the first place was because I took the previous years to study, to show up, to find my personality. I took 1,000 trades to make my first 100,000, and I was averaging around $10,000 a month. So what was so different about February of 2021? Well, the difference was I practiced so much before this that it was just my moment. And the market will tell you when it's your moment, but the only way you'll ever get a moment is if you try so hard before that it's not luck. It's just the market telling you this is your time. And this is exactly what happened to me. And this is why I was able to execute over 200 trades in 1 month, because I was so prepared for them and I knew what I was trading. I knew these patterns, like I have highlighted in my previous video. If you go watch it, it was the panic dip buys, the breakouts, and the first green days that truly got me to this incredible month. The biggest day was 93,000. I had multiple stocks long overnight looking for that breakout continuation pattern going into Tuesday. So what happened on Tuesday was, this is actually one of my favorite trades that I took during that month. It was DPLS. On Monday afternoon, I was watching for the trigger, which I will show it right here. The trigger was 0.02, and I was just watching it the whole morning, and then around 1 p.m., that was when the stock got volume, and that's when I started to get long. The stock eventually just trended up into the next day, and I didn't want to sell because it never showed me signs of having to worry. It never even had a significant dip for me to get out. So I was pretty confident, and I also had a very small risk. So I ended up holding it into the next day, and on Tuesday it had a morning spike to 0.04, making 100% on this ticker, which was an absolute beautiful breakout, and that was one of my favorite trades. Why? Because it's repeatable, because it got volume, and it just held that trigger all day so well that it made it so easy for me to risk little in order to get a real nice return for the next morning. Now, the big question is, can something like this be repeated? I do think it's possible, but I also do believe it takes a certain type of market to do so. 2021 had such strong momentum that created such clean setups, especially in OTCs, with such tight risk to reward ratios that just made it so easy for us to execute. And we don't get that market every single month, because with the market, every single year is different. Every single month is different. But the only thing we can do, and you can do, is execute your process. Take small losses when conditions are slower, and be ready when those rare and explosive opportunities happen, because when they do, you'll be 100% ready for it. Now for the next trade that I want to highlight, this is actually a stock that I am very passionate about. And for those of you that traded 2021, I'm sure you also remember this ticker, TSNP. TSNP was just a beautiful ticker. It traded the patterns just so well, and it was just such a smooth ticker. It pretty much gave an entry almost every single day. So I was able to get to know the ticker a few months before that. In December of 2020, that was one of the main tickers that I was trading. So I knew its personality well. Now moving into February of 2021, and in one of my best days of that month, it was actually trading TSNP. So what was going on with TSNP was that it was going down 4 days in a row. And like I've mentioned in my previous videos, I was looking for that reversal day, for that first green day, and I just knew that TSNP was going to be a beautiful ticker to trade that. So what happened on the 19th is it started holding around the lows, and it pretty much made it a pretty easy risk because I had seen the movement from like the previous days and the selling would not stop. But on this particular day, it just kind of slowed down and it started to kind of hold in a range at around the low day. So I found it very interesting. I ended up taking some long because first of all, I had low of day risk and it had been going down for so many days that once the stock started to slow down, I knew that once it created that trigger, I wanted to be long because I still had a pretty easy risk, right? So I ended up going long around the low of the day, and I was planning on selling it into the predictable morning spike the next morning because that's what OTCs were doing during that time. They were gapping up into the next day. So I thought, if this doesn't give me a reason to sell, why am I going to sell in the first place? So I didn't, and I ended up selling into that predictable morning spike, making over $40,000 on the ticker. And that was honestly just such a predictable trade, and I just loved trading TSNP so much. And for this ticker, my goal was to sell at around $1. I ended up selling at around $1. It went all the way to $1.16. So it could have been a better trade, but it doesn't matter because I sold into strength, and that is all I cared about. For TSNP and all of the times that I traded it, and to this day, what I do is always sell into strength or cover into weakness, but I don't try to hold things for way too long because I don't want to give profits back. All I want to do is just make sure that I get in, have a positive entry, and then get out once I am proven right. But I don't want to hold for too long either because that's just not how my personality works. I am a consistent trader and I want to keep it that way as long as I can. One interesting thing about this month was the psychology behind it. To be honest, I wasn't really thinking about the winning streak during that time. I was so focused on executing my process that I didn't even have time to process what was going on. Everything kind of just happened so quick as well. But all I was thinking of was executing my process, thinking about the trades that I was going to take, and that was pretty much as far as my mind went. I would finish the day, record my results, and move on to the next day to do it all over again. And I think that actually helped me during this month because I wasn't chasing bigger wins or trying to push harder. I was just executing what I knew, and I had been doing it for so long. All I was doing was just getting more opportunities to do it, more stocks to execute on, and doing it again and again with small risk. I was just executing the same setups, keeping a tight risk, and just doing it all over again. I hope you found this deep dive insightful. Identifying the principles of hot sectors and pressing your edge when you have it are timeless. If you want more real trade recaps, including wins and losses, make sure you're subscribed to my channel.